Sweet. Hey, everybody. My name is Tyllen. I'm the DevRel lead for the Uniswap Foundation. We're excited to be a part of the DAO Global Hackathon. We'll kind of walk through the Uniswap Foundation's origins through this presentation. We'll also walk through how, we're looking at potential ways hackers can get involved in what we're doing and build out cool applications on top of that. And then we'll go through our bounties and what we're looking for and kind of the prizes you can win for building some of these cool applications. So I think with that, Sean, I'm going to get started presenting. Can I just share my screen then through this? Let me do that. Sweet. And then let's start from here. Okay, cool. All right. So like I had mentioned, I'm representing the Uniswap Foundation. Our goal is to empower developers, fuel creativity, and cultivate community of very, very, like-minded, impressive devs that are trying to push crypto and DeFi forward. Let me see here. Cool. So this is me. As I mentioned before, I'm the DevRel lead for the Uniswap Foundation. If at any time throughout this whole hackathon, you guys are having any issues or are looking to find out, what more you can build on top of that, please reach out to me. This is my email. This is also my Twitter handle, my Discord handle. You can find me there on any of those platforms. With that, our mission as DevRel at the Uniswap Foundation is to fuel creativity and cultivate a community of empowered and influential developers who are shaping the future of technology. Uniswap was a big catalyst for empowering a lot of people to even know about what can be possible within the Ethereum ecosystem and especially push DeFi forward. We believe that the devs that are building on top of our ecosystem will also be doing the same thing. And we want to be able to support them as they're doing that. To give you background on the Uniswap Foundation and kind of where we delineate, like there's this common conception that we are just Uniswap, Uniswap Labs, all in general. Like there's actually a very, these are actually two separate entities. So the Uniswap Foundation was founded in the summer of 2022 after a governance vote to actually pass it passed through our governance vote to create the Uniswap Foundation. And with that, we created essentially a place where we can provide funding for people and give out grants to help grow the ecosystem and the protocol. And we're able to also with that manage the protocol, the health of the protocol, and help developers building in the ecosystem to grow the general Uniswap protocol outside of just what you may know it as today. So with that, we've actually given out a ton of grants. We've had a lot of developers build on top of our ecosystem, and we're just looking to do more and more of that and help developers do that as time goes on. Some of our key functions, as I mentioned, were grants. We're also heavily involved in governance and work to pass different initiatives or help teams understand how to pass different initiatives through our governance process and just how to actually get the process started, not pass it, but how to get the process started and help them along the way there. We're heavily involved in the developer ecosystem as well. That means anything around documentation, around how do you integrate Uniswap into different applications, thinking of different use cases, and things like hackathons like we're doing here today. We're really excited about being a part of that. And then we're also working on maintaining the Uniswap protocol and growing it as time goes on. If you are looking for more information on all of what we do, you can go to the Uniswap Foundation website. We just launched it last week. So this is totally brand new. It's also a very good representation of what we do. And it's an exciting spot to learn more about grants, learn what we funded before, learn more about our developer documentation process. We also have a brand new hacker homepage that you can see in our resources tab of our website. That can also be your go-to place if you're looking to learn more about Uniswap and how to develop on top of Uniswap. We have tons of resources there for people who are beginners at developing even on Solidity, all the way to a little bit more advanced use cases for developing on top of Uniswap. So with that said, how does all of this relate now to the DAO Global Hackathon? Well, as we had mentioned, the Uniswap Foundation was founded through a governance vote, and governance is a big part of what we do today. And the way that we do governance is essentially, it kind of starts here. We have our Uniswap governance portal, and this portal is where teams will come to start the process, or actually to start the process of passing certain initiatives that they would like to see on top of Uniswap, whether that's a new chain launching onto Uniswap or whichever else. This is kind of the go-to home where you can see the initiatives people are trying to pass. You can see the comments, the live discussions, how people are thinking through things. And I can actually just I could take us to the website here. And yeah, so, I mean, if you guys see, we've got tons of discussions over a whole bunch of different things on what people are looking to pass. And you might see different kinds of proposals, like an RFC, which is a request for comment, which is kind of the initial stage of people just trying to get feelers out on, if we want something to like maybe be an idea that can pass towards what's then called a temperature check. Temperature check is when voting starts to happen on like, should we actually think about this as a governance proposal? And then as you see here, we have governance proposals. So there's tons of things happening here. We can also see the live discussions and how many people are viewing this and like the activity that's going on. So we've thought through this pretty like largely over how to make this a very well run process. And obviously there's we'll keep updating it as the community wants us to, as the community kind of dictates it. But so far it's been working. It's been a really good governance process to follow. And that's why we're here also at the hackathon. We want to keep improving it. So back to our slideshow. Cool. So we've got the Uniswap governance portal here where people will have all of their governance conversations happening. And this is kind of the governance process as it happens. As we saw on the governance portal, there are different kind of titles for different things that people are looking to have discussions on. As we mentioned, the first thing that someone would usually post if they wanted to start going through the governance process is a request for comment. It's some kind of idea they have of something that they want to push towards the, push onto Uniswap, onto the Uniswap protocol. And then they'll have a kind of a request for comment period that's about 7 days long. They'll get the discussion going. They'll start to understand what people are saying. And then they'll start to take those comments back and see if this makes sense to push towards a temperature check. If kind of within the request for comment, a lot of people don't agree with it, most of the time that, wouldn't move forward as a temperature check. But if like a lot of people agree that this idea tends to be good, then it goes to what's called a temperature check. And a temperature check is where actual voting starts to happen on what the person has just proposed within the governance forum. So this temperature check takes, voting takes place in the form of a snapshot. There's a minimum of 10 million uni as a quorum to actually go forward with the snapshot vote. So once the vote starts to happen, they have 5 days to collect, interest for the proposal. They have 5 days to collect this 10 million uni quorum. And then after those 5 days, if we have, a majority of people that agree with the temperature check, then that temperature check will turn into an actual governance proposal. And now the governance proposal is what people will vote on to see if this will actually go live on the Uniswap protocol or not. Within this governance proposal, the person who's actually proposing this needs to have 2.5 million uni delegated to them to put this proposal forward. So sometimes that could be the foundation providing these 2.5 million uni. It could also be, other delegates providing this 2.5 million uni to people. But then the way that this proposal is actually voted on, it's a variety of ways. You can vote through the Uniswap website, through the actual governance portal. You can vote through Tally, Boardroom. And before we start the voting, there's a 2-day waiting period so that people can get ready. They can have their discussions. You can let people know that this is about to happen. And then once these 2 days pass, then there's a 7-day voting period. And within the 7 days, there actually needs to be at least 40 million uni, which I believe is 10% of the uni in the ecosystem, to actually help this bill, help this proposal move forward. So then, let's say people don't, they reject the notion of this proposal, then, it just doesn't move forward. If they, also another key thing to note in this proposal is there's usually code that has to be executed. So we do recommend that the code be reviewed by some kind of auditor or someone within certain teams that can inspect and make sure that this code isn't, bad code. So once this vote is done, if a majority agree, then we will see this proposal get passed, and then we will have a time lock period for 2 days before we actually execute the code into the protocol. After 2 days, that code is executed, and then your proposal has passed and you're good to go. So how do you, understand more about this process? How do you understand how people vote? How do people build on top of this? Well, we have different documentation where people can actually look at the functions from our contract that's deployed to the Ethereum network for how voting occurs. We also have our process docs, and I can go through this right now with you guys while we're doing this. So this is kind of, if the concepts I've spoken about don't make too much sense, or if you'd like to learn more, you can go to our Uniswap docs page right here, and you can learn more about kind of the governance process and how it works. And then here you can also see key kind of events that are emitted from our contract as proposals are happening, and as people are actually going through the votes. There's also a place where you can see the live contract that's deployed, which is our Governor Alpha. And yeah, so if you're like building on top of if you're thinking of different governance tools and you're looking for different ways to like interact with the like live contract, this would be a good place to start, so that maybe you can build out your own better governance tools, better proposal tools. This would be like an exciting project for us to see. Cool. And then we've also got the process more built out over here, which is kind of what we just walked through. And it goes through the request for comment, it goes through the temperature check, the consensus check, governance proposal, and then it gives you a glossary of kind of all the things to any kind of words or items that you might not fully understand. This goes into a deep dive on what they are. We also have our contracts that are in our overview page right here. Currently, this is our live contract, and here's where it's deployed on the Ethereum mainnet. So if you want to mess around with the contract and look at the different functions that you can call, this would be a great place to start to do that. Now, with all that said, what are kind of areas throughout this process that might be interesting for us that, we could maybe improve it or have like more communication with delegates and things like that? I think a simple way to think about that is just looking back at our previous flowchart of just the process of what a governance proposal looks like. And within each of these areas, I think there's a lot of room to improve the communication and the experience with delegates. At any instance, for example, you've seen our governance forum. At any instance there's a lot of ways to start thinking about how do we like make more people within the Uniswap ecosystem know about this? How do we make the experience for delegates better? How do we make the experience for people who want to give their tokens to someone to delegate better? So I think a good way for hackers to think about this is to think about it in these little chunks. And I think you can focus on addressing specific parts if you want, or you can focus on addressing the whole. Either way is good. I think either way would make significant impact within the Uniswap Foundation ecosystem and the Uniswap governance ecosystem. So as you're thinking about this, there are tools that we have that if you want to come reach out to me, we have our governance forum hosted on a certain site on, I believe it's Discourse, and we have read-only API keys that can help you read all the messages that are on the forum, help you better like build around that. And I'd be happy to share that read-only API with you guys so that you could use that to build out really cool apps. But essentially, this is a good framework to think about how do I like improve this process for delegates and for just people wanting to learn more about what's going on in the governance ecosystem. Now, the exciting part, we've got bounties, and as this whole conversation has been centered around, it's all around governance, and it's all around how do we better improve the experience. So for our bounties, we are giving the first place prize $6,000 for kind of the best implementation of any of these tools we've spoken about. We're giving second place $3,000 and third place $1,000. The areas that we're excited about, anything like smart notifications for delegates, enhanced communication tools, data visualization and analytics of what's actually going on within the governance process. Cool tools you can think about using, cool tools that you can think about for building this with is something like push protocol might be interesting to send notifications directly to wallets based on the different governance proposals that are happening. I think that there's a lot of unique items here that don't have to necessarily be too crypto focused, that they're, if we do have Web2 developers that want to get into crypto, I think this is a good place to start for a lot of them, and they can build a lot of really cool solutions on top of this. I think the kind of how we're going to judge it is, what is the effort that you've put into this? What does your code look like? Like how much do you actually address the problems that we're looking to solve here, and how much of how much are you impacting governance within the Uniswap governance ecosystem, and how are you pushing it forward? I'm excited to see what kind of projects you all can build through this. I think there's a lot of room to build really exciting projects. If you have any questions throughout this, or some of the things just weren't clear, or you want to know more and you're looking for this discourse API key, or you're thinking of different ways to, manage relationships with delegates, I'm all ears, and I'm here to help and happy to help whenever. But yeah, this is kind of what I had here. Again, I want to thank the DAO Global Hackathon for setting this up. This is a really exciting time and hackathon for us. So I'm looking forward to what you guys are building, and thank you for listening to me as I went through this PowerPoint. So yeah, I'm open for any questions too.
Oh, amazing. Thanks for the presentation.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah. Did anyone have any questions?
No requests for questions, requests for comments.
I guess not. One thing I was really interested, I thought was interesting to see was the 10% quorum. That's significant.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's 10%. I need to double check, but yeah, I mean, it's passing to the Uniswap protocol, so we need to have a lot of people with their eyeballs on it, making sure that it's something that the majority of the community can agree on.
Yeah. And then I remember you said to post a proposal, you have to have, it was 2.5 million uni delegated?
Yeah, delegated, yeah.
So it has to be delegated. You couldn't just go buy 2.5 million uni and post something?
That's a good question. I'm not totally sure about that. I think you could have 2.5 million to your name, but yeah, I can follow up on that. Also, if you were to buy 2.5 million uni, that'd be a lot. You'd be spending a lot. So yeah, I think you'd want to be able to have your say in what the protocol is doing.
Oh, for sure. Nice. Yeah, I know at Aragon DAO, we also use a delegate system. So I think we would be also very interested in any ways that you can communicate better with delegates. It's because communication during the proposal process is so important.
There's a lot of room there for exciting tools to be built. And I don't know, I don't want to say it's not the most sexy, but I think it's very important and an important part of crypto in general. So it's it's an exciting part that doesn't, I think, take too much crazy code to make it really good. But again, that's why like we're pushing forward this proposal and why we're kind of being heavy on some of our bounties for like the top designs, because we think anything here can move the needle pretty significantly.
Exactly. Well, wonderful. So, and I know you had mentioned your email and Discord and everything in the beginning, but do you mind posting your email here so that way, just in case?
Yeah, do you want me to?
I think Casimir came in a little bit late on that one.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Here's my email. And then this is my Twitter or Discord. It's always, it's Tyllen.
Awesome. Cool. Well, if no one had any questions, I guess we can give everyone about 30 minutes back. I really appreciate you coming by, Tyllen.
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate it too. Thank you all for setting this up, and looking forward to speaking with any hackers too. So thank you guys.
Definitely. All right. Have a good day.
Bye. You too.